everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about a constant and consistent stream of information, hopefully for your benefit. Over 575 audios available on a variety of topics: self-improvement, mental health, emotional health, coaching-related topics. We try to do this as often as we can. If you're looking for a coach to help you deal with some things that you haven't in a while, maybe respond to trauma differently, I would love to be of service to you. Please feel free to reach out on Twitter at PO Perception or in the About Me section of this YouTube page, which will give you access to my website. You can go there and reach out when you feel comfortable, confident, and ready. In any event, it is helpful and useful to kind of look at things from a unique perspective. And so, what are some truths that we all eventually have to face that we might take a little longer to face than we want? And so, the first is you bring about your own closure when things don't go well. So, we all search for meaning when we end a relationship, when a job doesn't go the way we plan, when a tragedy happens. But the only person that can bring closure to a situation by telling yourself a new narrative that makes it easier to deal with is you. You can ask for people's opinions, you can ask for their viewpoint, you can reach out to them and ultimately try to gain perspective and maybe new outlooks, but at the end of the day, it belongs to you whether you change or not. And so it's super important to remember that you are responsible for yourself and you are responsible for your own closure. When we expect other people to change how they behave in order to give us closure, all we're really doing is giving them the power that they had in the first place that caused us to get hurt. And so that can be super problematic. The next is you're responsible for your own changes and you're responsible for making evolutions to your own life. Look, circumstances will align. Some are good, some are bad, some are neutral, some are unfortunate, some are unfair, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for the actions you take and the changes you do or do not make. When we expect other people to be responsible for our situations, we're taking our own personal responsibility too lightly and giving away our own personal power. There are times we will do this, but resetting away from that becoming a pattern of behavior is one of the most important and powerful things we can do. The next thing to realize and recognize is you must take risks. No risk, no reward. And change happens. Change is inevitable. It is a part of the human experience. It is one of the guaranteed constants outside of taxes and death that we will ever experience in life. I'd say it's one of the big three. And so you have to get comfortable with the idea of change, the concept of change. The more comfortable you are with the concept of change, the easier it is to live the life that you want. Because then you begin to build a different relationship and a better relationship with resiliency. When you're uncomfortable with change and therefore uncomfortable with risk, and you don't have a relationship with your own resiliency, you will eventually fall short of your own expectations and feel like parts of your life or parts of relationships or whatever are a waste. The next thing is, and I say this to clients all the time, it's probably my most used phrase: you can't teach desire. Even if you want someone to get clean and sober, even if you want someone to love you differently, even if you want someone to see your potential professionally or in a romantic relationship, if they don't have a natural desire for it, they might be able to fake it. You might be able to convince them to fake it. They might be willing to do things for your benefit in the short run, but in the long run, if they don't have a natural proclivity to it and they're not willing to gain one, it's absolutely utterly a waste of time and energy to try to teach someone to desire something that isn't in line with who they naturally are. And if I could teach that to the whole world, I think we would live in a completely different world of self-accountability and more transparency and honesty. Because a lot of times we try to spend a good deal of time, months, sometimes years, trying to get someone to see the value in themselves, trying to get someone to see the value in our relationship, trying to convince a company that we have more value than they think we do. And if a person or situation doesn't desire to change, then it's just wasted energy. The next is self-love. You can't love someone else if you don't love yourself. And self-love doesn't mean that you're egomaniacal. Doesn't mean that you're egocentric. It just means that you see your own value. You can admit your flaws. You can embrace your strengths. You value every part of yourself. You allow yourself to explore and expand. And at the end of the day, you see yourself as worthy to be loved. If you're looking for love, you should look to add to someone else's life and for them to be a benefit to your life, not as a form of completion, but as a form of complement to the fact that you are already a whole person. The next is all emotions or following them is choices. The emotion itself is a biochemical response in your brain that brings about an emotional experience, but following it through, acting upon it, and or choosing to focus on it is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. Anger is a choice. Now, the original emotion may come from a biological place, but choosing to live from the place of your emotions is 100% a choice. And so it is helpful and useful to know that. In any event, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.